and just brings a level of news that you don't get anywhere else. And I think CNN does a great job.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the people on CNN. And what I know what the conservative side of America thinks, and I don't blame them.
Before I talk about Bill Maher essentially calling out Caitlin Collins from CNN for, how do I say this, for being overly biased, there was something that did happen over the weekend that I thought was, while hilarious, also sad, and also at the same time, it also provides a bit of a prism for the future under this type of leadership.
Hey. I'm just
Whoa. Okay. Hi.
Whoa.
Wait a minute, sir.
Just a few minutes ago, asking for your attention to a much bigger idea.
Thank you so much, sir, for your big idea. But we want to make sure that we are able to get through this.
Some people may laugh at that because it's Kamala Harris's voters turning on her, and Kamala Harris's voters saying, well, we're not your voters anymore because of what's going on overseas. I say let them eat each other, but still at the same time, though, it also provides a very odd, how do I say it? It provides almost like a looking glass view of what to expect under these people, which at the end of the day, leadership is supposed to help keep you safe here, especially here in the United States. I mean, that right there is the main goal of the presidency, and obviously, this person is not ready for it. But hey, look, we still have that laugh, which I also think, given the subject matter a while back when this was taken, should tell you everything you need to know about this person.
Slow down, everybody. I want to talk about two things. First, Afghanistan.
Somebody who will not take the press serious, somebody who will not take the issue seriously, because of course Afghanistan was about to come up, and I'm pretty sure you guys all remember what happened in Afghanistan, the botched withdrawal that ended up with, let's just say, 13 of our own killed, 11 Marines, a soldier, and a corpsman. Yeah, this woman definitely does not take this stuff seriously, and of course she also does not take the press seriously, which is also the reason why it is that a lot of people are praising Bill Maher for calling out Caitlin Collins from CNN. Now, gang, I opened up this video with some of that. You guys obviously saw the very, very beginning, but let's go back in time and let's take a look at Caitlin Collins. So who is Caitlin Collins exactly? Well, obviously she's a propagandist for CNN. But Caitlin Collins was not always a propagandist for CNN. As a matter of fact, she also at one point in time worked for the Daily Caller and was even interviewed by Fox News about this. Check it out.
Nation's capital. Caitlin, what does that mean? What's George Soros trying to do with the immigration crisis?
Good morning. Okay, so George Soros is this foreign-born left-wing guy who essentially wants to change the nature of our country. And in this data dump, one of the memos was about the refugee crisis. And they made 3 points. They think that they've been successful at influencing immigration policy across the world. They think that the refugee crisis is an opportunity to continue doing so. And they think the refugee crisis is the new normal. And George Soros is this guy who is a staunch advocate for open borders. He wants people to be able to go wherever they want, whenever they want, for whatever reason. And for him, he sees this immigration policy, this crisis, as a vehicle to further his immigration.
Worked for the Daily Caller at one time. That was Tucker Carlson's organization. Worked for the Daily Caller. Interviewed by Fox News. I mean, it just goes to show you that these people are not exactly what we call trustworthy. It's almost like professional wrestling, switching sides, constantly fun and games. Of course, if you guys remember Caitlin Collins, you may remember that recently she was on Stephen Colbert. Let me just kind of pull this from my hair up for you guys.
Been this moment where he has not been able to coalesce around a single attack line.
I know you guys are objective over there, that you just report the news as it is.
Oh, I know. CNN makes a... I know
Was that supposed to be a laugh line?
I wasn't supposed to be, but...
Here's the God's honest truth. Nobody, and I mean nobody, takes the liberal media serious anymore. I used to not believe that that was the case, but maybe in the sense that people don't believe that these people are, how do I say, serious journalists or serious news people. Then again, at the same time, though, maybe it's also liberals and left-wingers actually getting off on the idea that their side dominates the airwaves. And, of course, they want to do what we've always said they wanted to do. They want to close your voice and let their voice continue to ring, regardless of how stupid it sounds. Either way, though, we got to talk about this, and we also got to talk about why it is that, Caitlin Collins isn't fooling anybody. However, before we get started, though, make sure you guys go ahead and cut the notifications on for the channel, so that way you guys are notified when the video comes out. please go ahead and hit the like button. Also subscribe if you guys are new here, so that way we can go ahead and work on beating the censorship. And let's go ahead and get to the video. Even the crowd in Stephen Colbert's show, even these people knew that CNN was an absolute joke and was not meant to be taken seriously, because they're not a serious news organization. They're just propagandists. Pretty much all of your mainstream news is, in fact, propaganda nowadays. Of course, I also think back to that Eric Bischoff TED Talk, where he basically told you it was nothing more than professional wrestling. That right there is what the hell the mainstream news outlets are to this day. Even your local news outlets are starting to pick up on this. However, the thing that I remember Caitlin Collins the most for was her interview or her town hall with former President Donald Trump. And of course, I felt that what Trump said here is pretty much what everybody thought of when they think of Caitlin Collins. Just, well, let me roll it for you and remind you guys one more time.
Obama.
But Joe Biden didn't ignore a subpoena to get those documents back like you did. And so that's the question.
1,850 boxes.
But that's the question that investigators have, I think, is why you held on to those documents when you knew the federal government was seeking them and then had given you a subpoena to return them.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's the
mind?
answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to, you're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
Guys, you probably think that this right is a bit of a clip show, but of course it's not a clip show. Don't worry, we will get to Bill Maher here in a second. However, the reason why it is that I wanted to do this video right here in particular is because while it may be the only video that comes out on Monday, because obviously we've got the grounds crew coming back out here on Monday and it's going to be noisy out here and it's going to be hard for me to clean the place, or it's going to be hard for me to actually do any videos. The thing is this right here. The mainstream news outlets are not serious, okay? They're not serious outlets at all. And of course, we have a presidential nominee that's not taking questions from the mainstream media. And of course, there are people beginning to pick up on this. One such person is Bill Maher. Now, guys, I have spent a lot of my time on this channel doing videos, reacting and responding to Bill Maher. I probably should have done a lot more, but I do not want to make this part of the Bill Maher reactionary channel. If you've been subscribed to me from the very start, you know my feelings on Bill Maher. I don't really truly care for the guy. I never really truly have cared for the guy. However, it is fun to see him call out his own from time to time. And regardless of what his faults and how many disagreements I have with the man, I do think he is a good judge of character, or excuse me, a good judge of presidential candidates. Of course, this right does not include his boy Gavin Newsom, who quite frankly would get destroyed in a major landslide. But still, the point is this right here. Bill is starting to pick up on something. As a matter of fact, if you guys remember correctly, back in 2022, September to be exact, he actually gave us his thoughts on Kamala Harris. Let me play it for you guys.
Yeah, he's not giving it up. No, I mean, he waited a very long time. He's like Dracula. I have crossed oceans of time. I have crossed oceans of time to be the president.
Right.
Once you have that real estate and you wake up in the White House and your office is the Oval, I just don't think you give it up. It's very hard to take the nomination away from the president.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
A sitting president. And what I could see is replacing the vice president, because she's just not very popular anywhere. And it didn't seem to work out. And I don't know, that's been done before on a ticket. I just think she's a bad politician.
At that point in time, Kamala Harris's, I wouldn't say her approval rating, I would say her favorability rating. Because you can have a high favorability rating and a low rating or a low approval rating, and nobody vote for you. I think Hillary Clinton had a favorability rating over 55, close to 60%, but of course, she still didn't get elected. Donald Trump's favorability rating, I don't think has ever been any higher than 48%. No, I take it back. He did break 51, 52 at one point in time, but still, though, at the same time, though, he got elected with low favorabilities. At the end of the day, most people vote based off their current situation, not on the personality of the person that there is. And of course, the current Democratic Party and mainstream media loves to go out of their way to tell us that this race is about vibes. Kamala Harris, back in, I'd say it was about the second week of July, right before Biden dropped, she had a favorability of 28% in a Reuters Ipsos poll, which, by the way, is the most friendly to Democrats or has been this election cycle. But yet you expect us to believe that the following week she had a 53% favorability rating, which, by the way, was in the same poll. This is one of the main reasons why it is that you can't trust polling information, okay? You have to narrow it down. You have to see what the hell is more and more and more consistent, and that right there is what you go off of. The fact of the matter is that Bill Maher, of all people, knows that this woman sucks at her job. She's terrible, and he also knows that she cannot get elected, which is probably the reason why it is that he's asking Caitlin Collins why it is that they won't interview her, or why is it she will not sit down for an interview, that right there being Kamala Harris. But I did make this video with the intentions of reacting and responding to what was actually said, especially when it comes to commentary on the news. And with that there out of the way, let's go ahead and look at this first bit.
CNN, in my view, should be the place where both sides can watch. How do you think you're doing with that?
How is CNN is the place where both sides can watch. And I think, my show is evidence of that. We have lawmakers on from both parties. We'll have Elizabeth Warren on one night. We'll have Ted Cruz on another night. I think lawmakers from both parties should take questions, and you should push both of them. But on CNN being a place of credibility, I mean, look at what just happened in Chicago. We had 300 people from CNN on the ground covering that convention. There were several reporters from just our team alone on the floor, bringing it in real time to people. And I think,
of course, she's talking about CNN's coverage of the Democratic National Convention, which CNN conveniently went out of their way not to show you guys the stuff that you guys saw at the beginning and you're seeing now. They went out of their way not to show you that. By the way, if I didn't say it already, Cornel West is back on the ballot in Michigan. So, yeah, that's going to be a problem for the Democrats. Like I said, there are white pills everywhere if you just look for them, because they typically tend to just fall into your lap and you tend to not notice them. However, CNN has not been a serious news organization for a very long time. I remember it was a video recording, not video recording, but a clip during the Gulf War where they said they were on scene for a gas attack. However, come to find out that it was staged and there was no CNN reporters in Iraq at the time. Kuwait, my bad, apologize. The fact of the matter is CNN is not a serious news organization. If they were a serious news organization, they would be covering what you guys saw on the B-roll footage. Bill Maher, of course, is starting to pick up on this, or maybe he's already known this, and maybe he's just simply telling them, look, if you want to gain back some people or people that will actually support your nominee, maybe you should actually, maybe report the news accurately, maybe have a much more balanced approach. Of course, CNN has already told you that they are in the Democratic Party's camp. They've been going out of their way to advise this woman on how to get elected rather than using joy as a strategy, which even the New York Times pointed out was a BS strategy. I will link that in the description box. Hopefully you guys won't have to go through a paywall. But this conversation does get deeper.
Behind things, and just brings a level of news that you don't get anywhere else. And I think CNN does a great job.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the people on CNN. And what I know what the conservative side of America thinks, and I don't blame them. I watched Kamala's speech last night. It ended at 8:09, I guess 11:09 in the East. It wasn't until 11:23 till the one conservative guy, what's his name?
Scott Jennings.
This lonely Scott, I call him.
David Urban was there too.
Wait a second. I watched from 8:09 to 8:23, they was just gushing about how great a speech it was. And I think she did fine. I didn't think it was as good as they were making it out to be. But if I'm a conservative in America and I'm watching CNN, just for the straight middle of the road, that's what I hear for 15 minutes.
Of course, is trying to prod her with talk of Scott Jennings being the lonely conservative up there. But I will say this right about Scott Jennings. He is definitely a much more effective conservative than the last guy they had there during election time, Rick Santorum. By the way, I like former Senator Rick Santorum, but I don't think he's the strongest of the bunch when it comes to actually talking about MAGA or making America great again. The thing is this right here. CNN, of course, like any other networks, is a propaganda network nowadays. It's kind of funny, too, because Sean Fitzgerald just did a video recently on Hassan Piker, and Hassan Piker is upset because, for whatever reason, his YouTube channel was listed where it should be, at the bottom of the scale when it comes to news honesty. And it's kind of funny, too, because Hassan even went on Piers Morgan and even said that he was a propagandist. So why are you upset, dude? I'll try to link that video in the description box. Kind of a hilarious video. I advise you guys go check it out. The guy's an absolute clown talking about Hassan. And I don't hesitate to call him that because that really is what the hell he is. Freaking clown shoes. I don't take him serious at all. He's just a guy to be funny. But still, at the same time, though, many people don't take CNN seriously, and many people also attack CNN because CNN has turned into basically a network that is, let's just say, all Democrats and the conservatives that they bring on are pretty daggone weak. I also find it kind of funny that Bill Maher pointed out the low conservative that right there being Scott Jennings, because CNN does have other people who claim to be conservatives. There is this McLaughlin girl. There's the guy that she just mentioned. You see what I'm saying? These are not exactly what we call rememberable people. They're forgettable for a multitude of reasons. You see, normally they bring on weaklings for the very, very purpose of just simply being the punching bag. However, that right there also reminds me, Michael Steele, remember him? Yeah, he works at MSNBC. He's been working at MSNBC, or he's been a contributor there ever since the Republican Party pushed him to the side after the 2010 election. Now, you would figure somebody like Michael Steele would have been effective because he was the head of the RNC when Republicans overtook the House and the Senate when Obama was in office. However, they must have known something about him. And of course, that thing that they knew about him was that he was, in fact, a weakling. He spent the next 3 to 4 years going on hardball or softball with Chris Matthews, and what he would do there the entire time was just simply get bent the hell over and just take it like just simply saying he wasn't exactly a strong conservative. He was there, obviously, to be a punching bag. Even if you're going to have a propaganda-style network, you're going to need somebody to at least fight back, so that way it does, in fact, look entertaining.
It does look, I mean, and when you see the path, it does look like tokenism. It's kind of like the same as The View. It's like it's almost better to have nobody there, like MSNBC, than to have just the...
Well, I don't think you could say it's better to have nobody there and then also lament the fact that you don't think the conservative guy, Scott Jennings, who is great, and we have him on my show all the time, spoke up early enough. I think it was a Democratic convention. They turned to Democrats, people like David Axelrod, who ran successful presidential Democratic campaigns first, for their analysis of this. And I don't think that you can say that CNN is anything but fair. I mean, look at that. We covered President Biden's exit from the race very closely, the pressure on him to get out. And I feel like I can speak with authority on this. I'm from Alabama. I'm from a very red state. I have a very conservative family, a lot of them who are Trump voters. They watch my show every night, and I think they know that.
And what I'm noticing here is that Caitlin Collins, who, by the way, chooses to bring up her family from Alabama, who probably laughs at her coverage and probably doesn't take it serious because they are more than likely Trump voters, as she kind of alluded to. What I noticed is that this person is still, how do I say, still doesn't know how to put on the proverbial sell. She doesn't know how to sell. She can't sell the left-wing audience. She can't sell Bill Maher's audience because they laugh at her the entire time. It's part of the reason why it is that CNN is, in fact, in the gutter, especially in her time slot. Her ratings are terrible. The fact is this right here. If you're trying to get conservatives to switch over and vote for Harris or support the Democrat Party nominee or be against Donald Trump, you got to have some form of personality. As you guys can obviously see, this person and CNN both, they're not taken serious even by Bill Maher's left-wing audience. Also another reason why it is that nobody finds the current Democratic Party nominee to be somebody that's, how do I say, special? Look, it's one thing to not be special, but back in the old days, the liberal media could at least sell the turd. Now they can't even sell the turd itself. I mean, they can't polish it up any damn more. And obviously, as you guys can see, even liberal voters, the secular audience, doesn't take these people serious. You guys obviously saw that with the Colbert clip. Let me go ahead and just replay it for you one more time.
Been this moment where he has not been able to coalesce around a single attack line.
I know you guys are objective over there, that you just report the news as it is. Oh, I know. CNN makes a... I know.
Was that supposed to be a laugh line?
I wasn't supposed to be, but...
Even other liberals that these people are pandering to don't take the network seriously. However, that right there does bring it back to Harris and why it is that Harris is not, how do I say, doing any interviews. Let's watch this next part.
About the fact that Kamala doesn't talk to the press. In a way, I feel like it's more insulting than what Trump does. And Trump says you're the enemy of the people, which is pretty bad. But she's kind of saying I don't need you. I'm not talking to you. You don't matter. You're not relevant anymore. To me, that's even worse than I hate you. It's like I don't think about you.
I don't know if it's worse than denigrating the press on a daily basis, which is what Donald Trump did. I mean, I covered him in the White House every day as a correspondent, and oftentimes to kind of shake you if you were asking him a question, he would try to get into a personal argument with you or just deny or lie about what you were asking about. And so I don't know if I would compare the two. I do think she should talk to the press. I think anyone who wants to have access to the nuclear codes should be willing to sit down and take questions. And we'd love to have her on the show.
I'd love to too, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
We'll see who gets her first.
Well, I think she'll do you before she does me, but stop.
I love this crowd.
You started it.
I
I come across this bit right here from Breitbart, and I understand I should probably have an immediate response to what you guys heard, but I saw this right here, and of course, Caitlin Collins basically telling you that she doesn't think Kamala Harris has to do this. Well, this is probably the reason why that's the case. Even Democrat pollsters are saying, and even David Axelrod said this the other day. I'm sorry I didn't provide the clip, but I'll link it in the description box. Probably a New York Post or Fox News article, maybe even a CNN article, because sometimes they release an article on that, where he basically outlined that the election was held today, Trump would still win because he would win the battleground states. If you actually go through the crosstabs of each and every single national poll, you kind of get that, especially if you put that in the NBC Swing the Vote map and all the other models. You kind of sort of get Trump getting over 280 electoral college votes in each scenario. The thing is this right here. Kamala Harris is not taking questions from the media because, quite frankly, it's pretty obvious. The media is going to cover for her regardless, and she knows this. But still, though, at some point in time, the media, or at least the Sunday shows, are at least going to want you to come out and speak. I mean, J.D. Vance is making the rounds every Sunday with the liberal media. He does a very, very good job of handling these people. He wants to get one on the Sunday shows today. But the thing is this right here. Kamala Harris's internals must be god-awful, or they must be right where they need to be, or right there on the cusp, meaning that this is probably the main reason why is her campaign doesn't want her talking. As I've said before, that even though most people get their news from online sources via it being going to the actual website, going to Facebook and clicking on an article, going to Twitter and clicking on an article, or coming to YouTube and getting commentary, most people, or podcasts, most people, when they get home, they still listen to the news or watch the news, whether it be local, national, and listen to the commentary. Fox News viewers will go home and they'll listen to Jesse Waters, Sean Hannity, and Laura Ingraham. At one point in time, it used to be Bill O'Reilly with Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham, and I can't remember who the other 10 o'clock person was. Wait, that's right. It was Greta Van Susteren would come on at 7 o'clock, and then it would go to Bill O'Reilly, then Sean Hannity. The point is this right here. People obviously still consume the news, and people do still consume even local CBS, ABC affiliates, Fox affiliates, and guess what they're going to want to do? They're going to want to know what this person's got to say. It's another one of the reasons why it is that I personally don't believe the numbers or the poll numbers are as real as these people are saying. Even Democrat pollsters are admitting that these poll numbers are cooked. This right here should tell you everything you need to know, that even the jokey left-wing media can't get this person over, and I think that Caitlin Collins even knows that. I mean, the crowd itself doesn't even take her seriously, and this right here is how you know this entire situation is, in fact, a joke. But I'll let you guys ponder that there in the comment section. Now, guys, really quick before I close this video out, I don't know if this is going to be the only video tomorrow, if there's going to be another. I'm going to try to get a second one out. If there is one, it may come out late. It may be something where I may have to make it like early in the afternoon, save it, edit it, and then get it out late in the afternoon. You guys know I do most of my videos from my phone. Essays and stuff will be done through the computer, but still, though, yeah, tomorrow could be a bit wonky. And, of course, as most of you guys already know, I do have surgery this week. But there'll be some videos out, maybe a couple the 2 days that I won't be around, probably on Friday and Saturday. And I also know it's Labor Day weekend coming up. But I'm going to try to get as much content as I can out this week to kind of pump up the algorithm. With that, with there being said, please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign off in the comments, and I'll see you guys later.